Number 1 at 10, where the news comes first. This is Idaho's News Channel 7. The news at 10 starts now.
But there's so much more devastation this time than anything Camille could have ever done to us.
There are no answers. Have your faith. If you have your faith, you have everything.
My head just started pounding. It was shock.
Hearing from Katrina victims and a first-hand account of the storm devastation. Good evening. Authorities in New Orleans want everyone out of their city, and they are threatening to forcibly remove them from their homes if they don't evacuate. Meanwhile, people in Mississippi who have already lost their homes are trying to figure out now what they will do next. We have team coverage with one of our own photojournalists just back from helping out our sister station in New Orleans. But first, we go live to Mississippi, where victims are still trying to piece their lives back together. As you can see, Leanne Gregg joins us live with the latest from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Good evening. There are more signs tonight. Things are beginning to return to normal. Here in Gulfport, electricity has been restored to parts of the city. The National Guard is still blocking the road that leads to the damaged beachfront. Across Mississippi and Louisiana, the struggle to recover continues.
Let's see, 2 schools heavily damaged.
Dave Triplets among the storm victims of all ages at this Gulfport, Mississippi shelter who needs a place to live. He's reluctant to leave the town he's called home most of his life.
Everybody we know, our family's all here.
Is anyone home?
In New Orleans, the mayor has ordered the holdouts to go or be forced out.
You know me, I ain't going nowhere. I don't know why y'all keep trying to do.
One of them is Bernard Cargill Sr.
There's a lot of them starting to change their mind now, but there's still a few hardcore people over here. Yeah. He's tough.
Why should I be forced to go somewhere where I don't know nothing and have nothing?
Fires continue to burn throughout the empty city. Crews on the ground are using toxic flood water to fight them. Water is unhealthy for anything it touches. Disease from the contamination has caused at least 3 deaths.
In any sewage spill environment, coliform infection is a real threat and a real risk.
Some good news, the lower Mississippi is once again open for daylight ship traffic. From New Orleans to across Mississippi, people like Robert Peterson, now living in a tent city, are trying to put their lives back together after Katrina tore them apart. And the number of homeless could rise after the government forces people living in damaged homes to leave because of safety concerns. From Gulfport, Mississippi, I'm Leanne Gregg. Back to you.
All right, we want to take you now to another one of the many areas hit hardest by last week's storms, staying on the coast of Mississippi, in and around the town of Pas Christian. You see it right there in the middle of your screen. News Channel 7 photojournalist Troy Colson was one of a handful of photographers from all around our company, who went down there to help out our sister station from New Orleans. That, by the way, was the only station out of New Orleans able to provide 24-hour-a-day coverage since the storm hit. These are pictures from Troy's camera. He is just back now after working experience. Troy, I'm sure you will never forget. You left last Saturday. What were your expectations when you went down there?
Well, Mark, I really didn't know what to expect. When I boarded the plane Saturday morning, the BSU fans on the plane thought I was there to shoot the football game. Mm-hmm. When I told them I was there to shoot the hurricane, the mood changed quite dramatically. I
want to take a look at some of your pictures, and you were telling me about the cars that you saw down there on the bridges bulldozed.
Yeah, the interstates were very narrow. There was no medians. There were no anything on the side. Cars piled up all along both sides of the road. Just looked like a junkyard. Emergency vehicles traveling in convoys, most likely for protection, all times of the night.
The GPS system you were telling me about earlier that was put in place so that the emergency crews could find roads and homes.
Well, as you can see in this video, debris scattered everywhere. Even the police convoy that went in with us, they didn't know where any of the roads were, so they marked X's on the homes, and that way they marked their GPS so they could have an accurate body count.
Now, you worked with a photographer who was originally from this region.
Yes, Meg Ferris is the reporter. She actually lost a home and her family lost a vacation home in this exact area that we're in right now, and she struggled to maintain composure the whole time.
Just incredible. What are some of the things that you'll take back with you that you'll remember the rest of your life? Is it more the damage, or is it more the people?
Well, one of the things that I noticed was minute changes. One of the schools in the area, their motto was "Keep the Faith" for the
upcoming football season.
year, and they had posted banners and posters all over the area. And the hurricane came through, and then you could see these same posters and banners torn up in the fences and all over the streets. Changed the meaning. "Keep the Faith" then became "Keep the Faith" for the relief effort.
No longer about the football team. Well, I want to go back. You mentioned the reporter that you worked with that was actually from that area. She was asked to file a report on her own region. You said that was very emotional. Originally it was a 10-minute piece. How difficult was that for her?
You know, she struggled on the way down. She lost her way there. This is her home area. She didn't even know how to get there.
Right.
We stopped a couple of times to get our bearings, and she pulled through it.
All right. Well, you shot that video. I want to take a look now at a clip. What was originally a 10-minute piece from Meg Ferris on the devastation that Katrina left in her home region. Let's take a look.
We started off in Baton Rouge and headed east on I-12, making our way over to I-10. Everywhere we went was a military presence. We saw trucks overturned on the interstate, trucks like this one that had a sign that said "okay," meaning that police had checked it and no one inside was there. Along the way, we saw signs that let people know they better not loot the few properties that were still standing. Everywhere you looked, there were houses that were marked. Police are using GPS to let people know where the houses are, because you can't tell where streets are. Along our journey, we find people who either stayed or had come back to see if they had homes.
There is no way anyone can ever explain this. We're alive, and that's the most important thing.
Devastation.
We just climbed through the buildings and pulled a few things out of the attic. It's not much left.
Where do you begin to move forward?
That's what I stood and just looked at it. I don't know.
You just put one foot forward and keep on going.
Everything is lost. Everything.
What will you do?
We don't know yet. We
thank
don't know.
God for nobody was there. At least we had left evacuated at that time, so we're thankful to be alive.
I couldn't believe it, and I still can't believe it.
Up on the highway at St. Paul's Catholic Church, something that rescue workers told us they're calling a miracle. The cross out front still stands. The Virgin Mary's statue still stands. And the large crucifix, not a nick. And what amazes rescue workers most, among all this destruction and broken glass, not one piece of stained glass is broken. And along the streets downtown, you find something else. This book open to this page, Shelter from the Storm. And there are signs of people who look back and remember Camille as the good old days.
Once again, that was reporter Meg Ferris working with our Troy Colson. Now, we mentioned our sister station WWL has maintained 24-hour news coverage continuously since last Sunday. Now, to do that, they set up makeshift news operation on the LSU campus in Baton Rouge. This is TV news at its simplest level. No frills, all live, wall-to-wall coverage of the news and stories from one of the worst disasters in U.S. history. WWL, as I mentioned earlier, was the only station able to stay on the air throughout the storm and beyond, broadcasting not only over the air but also on the web, and you can watch their coverage through our website at KTVB.com. News Channel 7 and U.S. Bank are teaming up for Northwest Response to provide an easy way to help Katrina victims. You can make a donation to the Red Cross at any U.S. bank in Idaho, Oregon, or Washington.